Hello viewers, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to start with a new Linux distribution. So we will be investigating the Tails OS. So Tails OS is a privacy focused Linux distribution, and this is the website of Tails OS, tails.net, and this is the main page or the landing page we can say. So Tails is a portable operating system that protects against surveillance and censorship. So you can use this operating system to avoid surveillance and censorship, advertising and viruses. You can secure your computer anywhere. You can carry your computer, that is the Tails OS, in a USB, and you can boot from anywhere. You can work and then you can just log out, and that will leave no traces of your activity on the internet. It contains the digital security box. So it is a selection of applications to work on sensitive documents and communicate securely. Everything in Tails is ready to use and has got safe defaults. Free software is also available. So you can download Tails for free and independent security researchers can verify our work. Tails is based on the Debian Linux. So the applications that are available in Tails OS repositories are free. You can use them. And security researchers verify those applications, so everything is secure. The applications will also be tested, because you see some application, if there is a backdoor, then that application can blow your cover. And if you are suppose doing some sensitive journalism or some kind of work, and your cover might be blown, and some governments or rogue parties might be putting you under surveillance, and you can be compromised. Your safety can be compromised. So for that, Tails OS is the best OS. Now, how Tails works? Let us check this out. This will be very important. So how to use Tails OS and make your computer secure? So first you have to shut down your computer and start on your Tails USB stick instead of starting on the Windows, Mac OS or Linux. You can temporarily turn on your computer into a secure machine. You can also stay safe while using the computer of somebody else. So at office, you have to just take your Tails OS in a USB, and then you can plug it into your office desktop or the office machine, and it will then boot into the Tails OS. You can use the Tails OS, and at evening when you return back, you have to just shut down your computer or your system, and you just take out your Tails USB. That's it. Your privacy is maintained. So Tails OS is around 1.9 GB download and takes half an hour to install. Tails can be installed on any USB stick of 8 GB minimum. So minimum is 8 GB. Better is you go with 32 GB. I think 16 GB should be there minimum. I think 16 GB, because that will also leave some space for your files also. Otherwise 8 GB I think is very we can say very minimal. I think 16 GB minimum you should take, and 32 GB will be very comfortable. And the other flexibility of using Tails OS is that once you have finished your sensitive work, for example, if you are a journalist or you have certain documents, sensitive documents with your official documents, that you keep in the Tails OS USB, and once that work is finished, you can reboot your system into the normal operating system like Windows, Mac or Linux, and whenever you want to do the sensitive work, you can boot into the Tails OS USB, and then you can go ahead with your sensitive work. Tails OS runs independently from the other operating system and never uses the hard disk. So that is the reason why viruses won't infect Tails OS. But Tails cannot protect you if you install it from a computer with viruses, or if you use it on computer with malicious hardware like keylogger. So that is a warning. So what are the system requirements? We will check. Most computer PCs that are less than 10 years old, some older Mac computers with an Intel processor. So Intel processor is a must for Mac computers. Tails will not work on Mac computers with an Apple processor, for example M1, M2 and other processors. Smartphones or tablets, Raspberry Pi. Tails might not work on some older computers, for example if you don't have minimum 3 GB of RAM. Some newer computers, for example if the graphics card is incompatible with Linux, NVIDIA or AMD Radeon cards often do not work in Tails. So this is a warning, and there is a list of hardware compatibility. So which systems have which kind of hardware compatibilities, everything is given, you have to read that. So I'm not going in much details, but the list is there and the issues are given. Detailed hardware requirements. So USB stick of 8 GB minimum on or a recordable DVD also can work. So you can install the Tails OS on a rewritable DVD, and that you can use for your sensitive work. All the data on this USB stick or DVD is lost when installing the Tails. So first you have to back up your data from the USB stick or a rewritable DVD. Otherwise the data will get lost when the Tails is getting installed on that DVD or USB stick. The ability to start from a USB stick or a DVD writer. A 64-bit or a IBM PC compatible processor is required. Tails does not work on ARM or the PowerPC processors. Tails also does not work on 32-bit computers since Tails 3, that is the June 2017 release. 3 GB of RAM is necessary to make it work smoothly. Tails can work with less than 3 GB RAM, but you might experience reduced performance and instability. Recommended hardware for PCs, avoid gaming models with NVIDIA or AMD Radeon graphics card. Consider buying a refurbished laptop from a high-end professional series. These are cheaper and will last longer than the new but lower quality laptops. For example, Lenovo ThinkPad series work well with Tails, including the X250, X1 Carbon, T440, T480 and the T490 models. If you live in a part where the buying refurbished laptops is uncommon, look on eBay and Amazon. Amazon offers 90-day Amazon renewed guarantee. Consider buying new laptop for vendors who guarantee the compatibility with Linux and Tails, like the Think Penguin. For Mac, we don't know of any Mac model that works well with Tails and can run the latest macOS version. So everything that is required for you to get started up, all the warnings, all the detailed system issues, everything is given here. You have to go through that in the requirements section of Tails OS. Now, Tails is safe but not magic. Tails is designed to hide your identity, but some of the activities that you do will reveal your identity. For example, sharing files with metadata such as date, time, location, and device information. Using Tails for more than one purpose at a time. Limitations of the Tor network. Tails uses the Tor network because it is the strongest and the most popular network. What is Tor? We will check out later, just after I think 5 minutes. Most popular and the strongest network to protect from surveillance and censorship, but Tor has limitations if you are concerned about hiding that you are using a Tor and Tails. Protecting online communications from determined and skilled attackers. So Tails does not assure that it won't get compromised if the determined and skilled attackers try to attack your system. So Tails it doesn't give 100% guarantee that you will be safe, but yes, you will be far better placed than other operating systems like Mac, Windows or Linux. So Tor is much more secure than these operating systems, but 100% guarantee is not there from the Tor, Tails OS, sorry, and the Tor's network. Yes, Tor's network plus Tails, they are both working in hand to make the operating system very secure. Tails can safely run on a computer that has virus, but Tails cannot always protect you when installing from an infected computer. Running Tails on a computer with a compromised BIOS, firmware or hardware. So how to protect your identity? It is given. You have to clean metadata from files before sharing them. So JPG and other image files contain information from where picture is taken and which camera is used. Office documents also contain information about the author and date, time of the document when it was created. To help you clean metadata, include metadata cleaner, a tool to remove metadata in a wide range of file formats. Limitations of Tor. So this is the limitations is given. So you can read them. The EFF, that is the surveillance, self-defense, the frontline defender, security in a box. So this you can read using untrusted computers. So install Tails from a computer you can trust. So if your computer is has a good antivirus and you have already checked that there is no virus infection, no hacker, it is not hacked, the system is not compromised, then you can use that computer to download the Tails ISO, and then you can use that ISO and burn it on a DVD or a rewritable DVD or a USB. If the computer that you are going to use to write the ISO of Tails OS is compromised, then there is a possibility that the USB that you will burn or the rewritable DVD that you burn will also have the viruses transferred from the computer from where it was written. So that is a big possibility. So how to make sure that Tails is not corrupted when you install from a compromised operating system? So always install Tails from a trusted operating system. Download Tails on a computer without viruses, or clone Tails from a trusted friend. Do not plug in your Tails USB stick while other operating system is running on the computer. Use Tails USB stick only to run on Tails. Do not use Tails USB stick to transfer files to and fro from other operating system. So that is given. And if you worry that Tails might be corrupted, do a manual upgrade from a trusted operating system. Okay, so many things are given. No operating system can protect against hardware alteration. So for example, if any hardware is changed, for example your keyboard is changed, then there might be a possibility that the new keyboard might get infected with a keylogger which has already been there in the new keyboard, and then your system will get compromised. So if suppose in your system the keylogger has already been infected, keylogger software is already infected in your system, and if you use Tails OS, then Tails OS cannot stop the keylogger from downloading your passwords and other sensitive data, because the system is already compromised. So Tails is not foolproof, but yes, it has got a very high security. If you use it wisely, then it gives you very high security as compared to the other Linux operating systems like Mac or your Windows and Linux. So you can go through this. And no operating system can protect against BIOS and firmware attacks. So firmware includes BIOS and UEFI and other software stored on electronic chips on the computer. All operating systems, including Tails, depend on firmware to start and run. So no operating system can protect against a firmware attack. In the same way that a car depends on quality of road it is driving, operating system depend on firmware. So if your firmware is compromised, Tails OS cannot save you. Tails OS will not defend you. Your data can get compromised if the firmware is already compromised. So I think this is good, and let us see how the Tails OS work. So how the Tails OS works? So it leaves no trace on the computer. So I think this part we have checked. Now amnesia. Tails always start from the same clean state, and everything you do disappears automatically. So whenever you shut down, all your traces of your activity on the internet, for example the browser history, the TMP files that you have created during the active session, all get deleted. Without Tails, almost everything you do can leave traces on the computer. For example, websites you visited even in private mode, files that you opened even if you deleted them, passwords even if you use a password manager, all the devices and file networks, Wi-Fi networks that you have used. On contrary, Tails never writes anything to the hard disk and only runs on the from the memory of the computer. So all these sensitive things like websites, files that you opened, passwords, and the Wi-Fi networks and devices, everything, all those passwords for those Wi-Fi networks, everything is stored in the RAM, that is the system memory, while the Tails OS is running. Once the Tails OS is shut down or rebooted, all this data that is there, temporary data that is there in the RAM will get wiped out, and the system will start from a clean state or a clean disk. So system will keep everything spick and span, and all your traces will be deleted. Persistent storage. So you can leave some of your files and configuration in an encrypted persistent storage on the USB stick. So you can have your partition where you can keep your data, your documents, your browser bookmarks, and your emails, and even some additional software that is allowed on the Tails OS USB. So if you write the ISO image to the Tails OS USB, then you can have one partition where your data will be there, or you can have your document folder will store all the data as persistent only. So how exactly what will happen? We will have to check this persistent storage, how it works. So your documents, your Wi-Fi passwords, and your browser bookmarks, they will be part of the persistent storage. So persistent storage is an encrypted partition protected by the passphrase that occupies all the free space left on the disk. So suppose you have got a 8 GB of USB stick, and the installation of Tails OS will take around 2 GB. So 6 GB will be free space. That free space will be now working as a persistent storage, where your documents, your Wi-Fi passwords, your browser bookmarks, all will be stored there with a passphrase. So the password protection will be there, and it will be encrypted also. You can see here it is written, everything in persistent storage is encrypted automatically. You can choose to unlock your persistent storage not each time. So the persistent storage will mount, but it will not open. It will not be accessible to you also until you provide the passphrase. So that is the security available. Without the password, it will not open. It will get mounted, but it will not open. How to create the persistent storage, how to configure the persistent storage, unlocking using the persistent storage, making backup of your persistent storage, deleting the persistent storage, everything is given. How to change the passphrase, convert dangerous documents to safe PDF using danger zone, installing additional fonts, opening persistent storage from other operating system, recovering data from persistent storage when Tails does not start, recovering data from persistent storage when the file system has errors. So everything is given. How strong is the encryption of persistent storage? So the encryption of persistent storage uses loops and decrypt algorithms. Loops and decrypt are standard system for disk encryption in Linux. Tails uses this default encryption parameters, which are considered highly secure. This is the same technique as we recommended for creating and using encrypted volumes in general. So if you remember, encrypted volumes can be created, or logical volumes can be created with the loops encryption algorithm. So that is same thing is used for your protection of the persistent storage that you create on your Tails OS USB or a rewritable DVD drive. So that's it. And there are many other things like working on sensitive documents, how to do that. There are advanced topics, uncensored and NMS internet, how to use it. Everything is given. I'm not going in much details. You can read it from here. Lot many things are written here. So basically, if you're going to start using Tails OS, you should go through all this. It will add to your knowledge, and you will be better able to use the features of Tails OS. Otherwise, what will happen is you are using Tails OS, but you are using the minimum features. So you will be not able to fully exploit the Tails OS features. So to fully exploit the Tails OS features, you will have to read all these things. Everything is important. I'm not going in much details, but I have just pointed you what you have to do when you get started with Tails OS on your system. Okay. Digital security toolbox. So Tails includes a selection of applications to work on sensitive documents and communicate securely. So all applications are ready to use and configured with safe defaults to prevent mistakes. So you've got a Tor browser with uBlock, a secure browser, and an ad blocker. So uBlock is an ad blocker. If you remember, I think I have made videos where I have installed uBlock on your Arch Linux. So uBlock you can install in Arch Linux, and that will help you with blocking ads for your browser. Thunderbird is there for encrypted emails. KeePassXC is to create and store passwords. LibreOffice, it is an office suite Onion share is there to share files, website and chat rooms over Tor. Metadata cleaner is there to remove metadata from files and many more. To prevent mistakes, applications are blocked automatically if they try to connect to internet without Tor. Everything in the persistent storage is encrypted automatically. Tails does not write anything to the hard disk. All the memory is deleted while shutting down. So that's great. And you can read further documentation for all these things, features and included software. Leave no trace on the internet. Tor for everything. So everything you do on internet from Tails goes to the Tor network. Tor encrypts and anonymizes your connection by passing it through 3 relays. Relays are servers operated by different people and organizations around the world. A single relay never knows both where the encrypted connection is coming from and where it is going. The first relay only knows where you are coming from but not where you are going to. Third relay knows where you are going to but not from where you are coming. The connection to the final destination is encrypted wherever possible to prevent the third relay from reading the content. So this way it becomes very secure, and we can say the cookies and all other things that track you, the trackers, hackers, they will not know from where you are connected with internet and what you are doing. So you are completely shielded from the internet. And even if the relays are get compromised, still you will your presence will not be compromised, because this is the way Tor works in 3 layers. 3 relays are there between you and your internet resource. The Tor network has more than 6,000 relays. Organizations running Tor relays include universities like MIT, activist groups like Rise Up, non-profits like Derechos Digital, internet hosting companies like Private Internet Access, and so on. The huge diversity of people and organizations running Tor relays makes it more secure and sustainable. So you can read more about connecting to Tor network, how the Tails use Tor, everything. So all detailed information is given here. Avoid surveillance and censorship. So to prevent someone watching your internet connection from learning what you are doing on the internet, you can avoid censorship because it is impossible for a censor to know which websites you are visiting. So if connecting to Tor is blocked or dangerous to use from where you are, for example, in some countries with heavy censorship, you can use bridges to hide that you are connected to the network. So what is bridges and everything? Maybe in some other video I will show you. Avoid tracking and change identity. So Tor also prevents websites that you are visiting from learning where and who you are unless you tell them. You can visit website anonymously and change your identity. Online trackers and advertisers won't be able to follow you around from one website to another anymore. You can publish blog or manage an email account entirely from Tails. You can only access it from Tails. It cannot be related to you. You can store documents and images related to this different identity in your persistent storage. Keep the passwords in KeePass.exe and have dedicated email account in Thunderbird. So if you got an email account or a blog that you manage only from the Tails, then it cannot be related to you. So the anonymity of your account is ensured, and also you can store your documents and images inside the persistent storage of the your Tails OS USB or a rewritable DVD, right? And you can have a separate email account for your Tails OS. So the general email account that you use for your daily usage, that you can keep separate, and you can have a special email account just for the Tails OS usage, where you can keep your sensitive documents in the persistent storage. Then you can share your documents with other users using the Tor network. You can browse sensitive data on the internet using the Tor network and the special browser, that is the Tor browser, that is available in Tails OS. Software for freedom, transparency to build trust. All the code on our software is public to allow independent security researchers to verify that Tails really works the way it should. So the source code of all the applications that are available in the Tails OS repos is public. So you can download the source code, and researchers or security analysts can go through that source code and make sure that the source code is not compromised. There is no code injection inside the source code, and all the applications do not infringe on your security, on your privacy. And you can reach out to more details here: trusting Tails, license and source code distribution, and the design documents. Top security for free. Nobody should have to pay for safe you can say safe usage while using a computer. That's why we are giving Tails for free and want to make sure that it is easy for to use by anybody. Tails is made by the Tor project, a global non-for-profit organization developing tools for online privacy and anonymity. Our work is funded by donations from people like you and organizations that support internet freedom: Mozilla, DuckDuckGo, Open Tech Fund, Craig, Newmark, Philanthropies, etc. So you can read about the Tails and Tor project from here. You can donate, you can connect with supporters, you can read their social contract from here. Sharing to be stronger. So Tails is built on solid foundations. For example, the Tor network, the Debian operating system, the GNOME desktop environment, all the tools included in Tails. So if you already know that Debian operating system is almost 80-90% reproducible system. So all the application packages, when you collect them and try to create a working operating system, those application or the packages of Debian operating system, they will come together and you will realize the same code or the same working operating system. So all application packages or all system packages, whenever you compile them, they will, after the compilation, they will perform or execute in the same way. That is a predictable way. So you can see that assures that the packages for applications and system in the Debian operating system all are working as they are intended to do, and there is no code injection or any malicious code is inserted into those packages, and the system works predictably. Not just hackers and malicious code, but the system works predictably. Every application package or every system package will perform the work that it is intended to do, and the system will not fail, and the integrity of the complete system as well as the individual packages is very strong. And how to install Tails, everything is given. Let us try this out. So you can read this. You can install Tails OS that will work with Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and you can also, I think, work with the this console also. That we will have to check. So for example, let us click on the Windows. What happens in the Windows? Yes. So you can install Tails from Windows. So this ISO that you are going to download it from here, you can use your Windows 7 or any later operating system from Windows to install it on a USB stick with minimum 8 GB. And you can use this ISO to install the Tails OS on a USB or a readable DVD using your Mac OS system. And this is for the Linux. So if you got a Linux system, you can use the ISO and the instructions given below to download the Tails OS ISO and burn it on a USB stick or a readable DVD writer. Now the documentation part, let us check. So I think we have checked some part of the documentation when we were checking out the different features. So everything is given, the general information is here. First steps will tell how to start using the Tails OS. Everything is given. How to upgrade your Tails USB stick, that is also given. What is persistent storage, that is given. Uncensored and anonymous internet, how to connect to internet and Tor network, how to use the internet applications with full privacy and security. Encryption and privacy is given here, how to use the loops encrypted volumes, VeraCrypt encrypted volumes, encrypting text and files using GNU PG and Cleopatra, securely deleting files, managing passwords using KeePass, working on sensitive documents, advanced topics like running Tails in virtual machine, GNOME boxes, build manager, everything is given. So you should read through this. Then this is the support page, and you can search for documentation here. Frequently asked questions, that is FAQs, are given here. How to upgrade your system, it is explained here. If there are problems, you can check out the list of known problems, list of known issues with graphic cards, list of things that will be fixed or improved in the next release of our open issues on GitLab. So you can check that. And this is the news section of the website, where you can check out what is happening in the Tails OS world. So the latest version, I think, is Tails 7.3.1, and what are the changes and updates to the system, how to get the Tails 7.3.1, and how to install it. So everything is given, and the earlier versions of Tails OS are also available here. You can check that out for yourself. And there is donation. Yes, donate to the Tor project is given here. How to donate, I will just check out. So you can do donation by credit card or PayPal. You can give once or you can repeat monthly, and the minimum donation amount is $5, and you can donate up to even $1,000. And you can also have custom donation amount. You can put any amount of your choice, and you can then donate to the project. And in return, you will receive a gift, a sticker pack, a t-shirt, a hat is there, a t-shirt pack, t-shirt packs, and your hoodie will be there. So if you donate to 50 instead, you can have a hoodie. And you can specify, no, I don't want a gift, then you can just make the donation and you will not receive any gift in return. So that is also very good. And I think in the next video we will start with the installation. We will check out the install experience of the Tails OS, and then we will continue ahead. And then the next video we will check out the actual Tails OS desktop, and then we will check out which applications are available in the desktop. So that's it for today's video. See you in the next video with the install experience of Tails OS. Bye bye.